Hello and welcome. Yes, I am feeling inspired. This is getting me motivated to finish these book summary videos. So during September 23rd to the 27th, the content on my channel will be the banned/challenged book summaries that I've read so far. That's part of the 24 in 2024 challenge that was started by MJ at Reading This Life. I am currently at number 17 out of 24, so I'm almost there. So this week I'll be covering the books that I've already finished. I've read them over the last several months. I just haven't got to doing the summary videos yet, with one exception. Before I get into the book summaries, yes, I am using the term banned/challenged because technically these books have not been removed from every shelf. Publishers are still printing these books. They're still available for purchase in public libraries and some school libraries. They've just been removed from certain locations based on challenges, complaints, etc. I've also done a 3-part series on this issue already. You can find that in my banned book playlist. The first video was about the issue itself and concerns. The second video focuses on Canada, which is where I live. And the third video has to do with the United States and the United Kingdom, and I've listed resources throughout those videos as well if this is something you haven't looked into yet. There always seems to be a new spiral, a new twist, and a new take on things. On Thursday, I was over at Book Blather for a live stream with Dave, Olive, as well as Gareth, Book Songs, and Other Magic on their show Is This Thing On? And we got into this conversation about banned books and different opinions, ideas, and what people are saying. And I have to say that after that conversation, I've been thinking a bit more about it. I've come across a number of different articles again about it. So this really isn't a clear-cut yes or no type of situation. So I really do encourage people to look further into it. Now, according to the American Library Association, September the 22nd through to the 28th is Freedom to Read Week in the United States. Ties in perfectly with doing the videos, and that's why this all worked out, and I planned it that way right now because I've just wrapped up my UFO conspiracy theory August-September themes. I'll be heading into ghosts, vampires, and cryptids throughout October, November. So this was a great time to put in these book summaries, which I've put off for far too long. Part of it, I'll be honest, is because this issue really irritates me. And as someone who worked in schools for 23 years, it irritates me because it was not something that ever came up in the schools that I worked in here in Ontario. Not in the public schools, not in the high schools. It's something I think our English department heads in high schools should be talking about and encouraging their staff to talk about it as well. There are a lot of different spin-off issues to this because it isn't just about people wanting books removed from shelves in school libraries or public libraries. But as I mentioned during the live stream, here in Ontario, there was an issue about a book because a student didn't want to read it as part of their curriculum. And to me, that becomes a very slippery slope because where does that end? And are teachers going to find themselves having to come up with 20, 25 different novel studies because the group doesn't want to read the book that's been selected. And how does that conversation go? Because that defeats the purpose of a novel study and hearing the opinions of other students in the class and reading it together and talking about character development, plot development, choices, etc. Although sadly, from what I've heard from some of the people I know who are still working in our education system, novel studies are not so much a thing anymore anyway, because we have so many different levels of literacy in a classroom that when you have students who can barely read at a grade 5 level with students who are reading at university levels, how do you pick a book that they can all study together? So it's a whole big bugaboo, and I've been trying to wrap my head around how to discuss all of this in a positive way, because I don't want to be angry and ranty. That's not what my channel is about or how I want to present myself. But it is an issue that is very important to me, because during those 23 years that I worked in schools, yes, I was an educational assistant. A lot of my role had to do with behavior management, supporting students, variety of different things. But I was also in a number of English classes, and I also worked with technology to support students with literacy skills. So this really hits home, because I remember the conversations I had with students about the material and the books, and some I will be mentioning because we read them in those English classes, and now I'm seeing them here as being removed from some shelves is it's just mind-boggling to me, and I really do wonder, where is some of this going to end, and what are things going to look like in 5, 10, or 15 years from now. But in any case, I also wanted to mention 2 articles that I came across as I was double checking some of my information earlier. I've also made a community post a couple days ago, and in there I listed the websites and articles as well. One of those websites, as I now look for the page that I had it on, there we go. And again, I'll have these in the description box down below. fosterfollynews.net. I came across an article there how Freedom to Read Week is actually an official holiday in 5 of the states. I was very interested to see the names of these states. Let me know in the comments down below if you are aware of this, because I'm willing to bet 2 will come up as a shocker. One is Arkansas, the other is Kansas, next Oklahoma. The 2 that shocked me based on different things, and again, this is how it's presented in the media and information you come across, Florida and Texas. If you're watching from any of those 5 states, can you please let me know in the comment down below that you were aware that there's an official holiday around the Freedom to Read issue? Because I have to admit, it came as a huge surprise to me based on the video I just recently made, because of the article I found in Newsweek and things going on there with books across different counties, comments that I've heard from other people who have been covering this issue as well. So I was very surprised. Another website to check out is bannedbooksweek.org. That has to do with Let Freedom Read Day is the article, and that's for September the 28th, 2024. They have a list of different activities and information there. Also, go to the American Library Association's website, ala.org. You'll find a lot of information there regarding this issue, regarding what the American Library Association does. You can find list of books that are banned. Here is something that may surprise a number of people. I double-checked it on the ALA site this morning. This is from their 100 banned challenge book list from the years 2010 to 2019. This came in at number 52. And I also noticed doing a Google search how often this book has been challenged, not just recently, but for a variety of reasons. Personally, although for me this is a research tool, as I'm going through the Da Vinci Code, it also ties in with Zecharia Sitchin and his work, as he relies heavily on the information here as well. But it's also, for many people, their spiritual book and what they read for comfort. So I was quite shocked to see this book on the list. And there are certainly a number of other spiritual books from a number of different faiths, but this is the only one that I saw on that list. It certainly caused to pause. What also shocked me is that I did not see a book like this. If you've ever read The Witching Hour, it may be called erotica by some people, and I'm sorry if this is going to sound crude, but most of the scenes in this book are a wham bam, thank you ma'am, next. It just, well, I guess it wouldn't be in a high school library anyhow, but it would be in a public library. So how this isn't one of the books that is banned is somewhat shocking. And that's why this issue is just, I don't know how people pick and choose and decide what they're going to put on the banned book challenge, or how they decide what they're going to challenge. For me, that's part of this. I mean, when I do my summaries, I'm not going through why they were challenged. I mean, if people are interested, they can certainly look that up through the lists or doing a Google search, what have you. It's basically 5 issues, and if it's not all 5 in one book, it's a mix and match. And honestly, with the exception of maybe 1 or 2 of the reasons, that could apply to pretty much any book. And it could certainly apply to anything that's appearing on streaming video, cable TV, movies, social media, all over the internet. So, and I mean, seriously, this morning as I was double checking some of my facts on the American Library Association website, I came across their update for preliminary data on 2024 book challenges. They have information there about the number of books that have been challenged, changes in trends, etc. But I particularly want to bring attention, and I've printed it off. I'm going to read the entire paragraph because I don't want to pick and choose and have things out of context. So the section in this article is called Success in Courts. While several states have recently passed legislation placing potentially unconstitutional restrictions on access to school and public library materials, lawsuits challenging such provisions on constitutional grounds have begun to overturn these laws and restore students and library users essential freedoms. The video that I did on DeSantis and what is going on in Florida, I put up because 6 publishing houses, along with Stephen King, are now taking legal action against Florida. That's why this article also caught my attention. But this isn't about Florida. This actually has to do with Arkansas. Yes, one of the 5 states that has an official holiday on freedom to read. In Arkansas, state legislators passed a law that opened librarians and bookstore owners to criminal prosecution unless they remove materials deemed unsuitable for the youngest of minors from shelves intended to serve older minors and adults. The law also mandated that public libraries adopt procedures allowing books to be challenged based on their appropriateness, a statutorily undefined term not based on constitutional standards. This provision would have allowed one person's opinion to limit the reading choices of everyone else in the community and would have encouraged review boards to engage in content-based discrimination. The Freedom to Read Foundation, a nonprofit legal affiliate with ALA, joined a consortium of Arkansas libraries, library workers, and library advocates to challenge the law under the First Amendment. Together, they secured a preliminary injunction from the federal district court that halted enforcement of Arkansas Act 372 from taking effect as the court considered their arguments. They continue to fight the legal battle to permanently stop the law from being enforced. In other words, there's no guarantee that this may not happen in Arkansas. And the fact that people may be criminally prosecuted if they're not taking books off shelves, that's just going into the land of the super creepy. The other article that I came across, and this is from pen.org. This goes back to Florida. Yes, one of those 5 states. Nearly 700 books, including celebrity bestsellers, banned in Orange County. So this is just one of the counties in Florida. And oddly enough, it isn't one that was mentioned with the Stephen King issue. Now again, in this case, it's different. This one, I won't read all of it. It goes through the different books. You can go find the article, like I say, at pen.org. It's talking about 700 books being removed. Now in this case, the books banned at the beginning of the 2023-2024 school year were previously available in teachers' personal classroom library collections and made available for self-selected reading. In this case, it's no longer just the library shelves at schools or the public library, but now these decisions are going right into the classrooms where teachers have material available for their students. And I get some people may support that decision, but again, where does this end? I mean, are they going to start going into people's private homes next? I had planned to do a summary of 3 books as part of this, but this has gone on a little bit longer than I intended, even once I edit it down. So I'm just going to leave this as the summary of the banned/challenged book issue. I mentioned in the beginning of this video, I will be using the term challenged books because that is more accurate to what is actually happening. I've also mentioned where you can find more information about this. In the next video, I will be talking about 1984, Lord of the Flies, as well as Of Mice and Men. Until next time, happy reading.